July 4th is in the rearview mirror, and the Stallions are looking to string together 3 straight wins here at Damaski Field, facing the Oneonta Outlaws. Welcome to the Arch Top 5 pregame show. Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi. And Nick, what an exciting night it was last night in Saugerties.
Just about 2,800 fans came to Cantine last night to watch the Stallions win against the Blue Sox and watch the fireworks afterwards. It was just an all-around great night for the Stallions.
Started with the parade early in the day, everybody going in and around. We were on that parade, had a great time, and then transitioned into what was the biggest crowd of the season so far for Saugerties. And early on against the Blue Sox, Stallions faced some adversity, but overcame it with the 4-run bottom of the 6th.
It starts on the mound, though. Andrew Speranza, 4 innings pitch, only 2 runs. He kept the Stallions in it and allowed the offense, like you said, to make a comeback with a 4-run 6th.
And you got to talk about the pitching as well in the bullpen, especially Matthew Murtaugh. He comes in the top half of the 8th, gets the last out of that 8th, and then comes in the 9th, works out of some trouble to give Saugerties the 1-run win.
And that's the second high-leverage situation of the season already for Murtaugh, and we're only halfway through. So head coach Colin Martin is going to look to turn to him a lot as the season goes on.
But one guy that head coach Colin Martin has turned to and will keep continuing to turn to, especially tonight here against the Outlaws, Justin Ford. He had a 3-for-4 evening and was named player of the game with 3 RBIs.
Ford just continues to rake all season long. Top 10 in doubles, top 10 in RBIs. He actually leads the PGCBL in that category. He's top 10 in batting average as well. So Ford made the PGCBL first team last year, and it's looking like he's going to do the same thing this year.
They certainly would love to see that. Justin Ford coming up clutch, and for a guy who's been in Saugerties last season, to deliver on July 4th was pretty special. And like, how about that fireworks display after the game?
I've never seen anything like that before. I haven't sat down and watched about a 15-minute firework display probably in about 4 years. So for me, an out-of-towner of Saugerties, definitely a very cool experience.
Transitioning here to tonight, the Stallions and Outlaws have faced each other a good number of times, Nick, and it's been all Saugerties so far in this season series.
Plus 29 on the run differential, Stallions outscoring them 39-10. Saugerties has just been dominating Oneonta all season long.
They certainly have been, but Nick, the last time these two teams played here at Damaski Field, we got 4.5 innings into the ball game before things got rained out. No rain here in the forecast tonight. The Saugerties currently leading that game 4-1.
And it was all the pitching. Daniel Mochio and Keller Osmond went the first 4 innings without allowing a hit. That's why the Stallions are winning 4-1 going to the bottom of the 5th.
And that game will be resumed the next time the Stallions come here to Damaski Field tonight. Just a straight 9-inning double or a 9-inning single header. You got me thinking about double headers now. And for the Stallions, they're really looking to continue this success against an Oneonta team that has been truly struggling, even though they finally got a win last night after 8 straight losses.
They won 4-1 last night against the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs, but they actually had 8 straight losses going back to those previous 8 games where they've been outscored by almost 40 runs during that time.
It's been a struggle for this Oneonta team to hit all across the board. A couple of their players also out here tonight, but it gives the Stallions a chance to really take advantage and gain some ground. They did just that last night. Both Boonville and Mohawk Valley losing gives Stallions a full game on both of them and a half game on Amsterdam.
Amsterdam not playing as well gives the Stallions another perfect opportunity to pick up yet another half game on the Mohawks.
The only other game in the East that's going on tonight is Utica versus the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs. That up there in Mohawk Valley, so if the Blue Sox can come up against Mohawk Valley, take the win, and the Stallions get a victory here tonight, they'll gain 1.5 games over the last 2, which would be big. And as we look ahead now on the schedule a little bit, Nick, for this team, it's starting to get to crunch time where they got Diamond Dogs tomorrow, Glens Falls, and then a day off before a crucial 2-game set against the Amsterdam Mohawks.
And the Stallions' offense is hot. Over their last 5 games, they've notched at least 9 hits in all of them, so it's going to be the offense that's going to have to propel them to victories against those good teams.
Pitching staff stepped up last night for the Stallions. They'll try and do the same here with Anthony Umhay on the bump, nearing first pitch here at Damaski Field right when we come back.
22, Dylan Passo.
Welcome to Oneonta. Denshall ready for Stallions and Outlaws here at Tabasky Field for what is the third time this season, the last outing between these two sides here at Tabasky Field. Rained out in the bottom half of the fifth. We will finish that game at a later time, but Nick, the Stallions looking for 3 straight wins here tonight.
They've won 3 of 4 as well, and during that stretch, Dan, it's really been the offense. 37 runs scored over their last 4 games. They've had at least 9 hits in all of their last 5. Good for a team batting average of over 300 through their last 5.
Certainly have, and last night was another example of it. Scored 6 runs. That was enough to get across the line against the Utica Blue Sox on July 4th, which is always a great night in Saugerties. All the fanfare. Everybody was out. We were on the parade enjoying the day. And the Stallions ended things off with a good win before the fireworks. And the squad, head coach Colin Martin, has rolled out tonight to try and keep the fireworks going. Looks a little bit like this. Griffin Crane starts things off. His first start as a Stallion. He came in last night as a pinch hitter and then made the pivotal game-saving catch. Jamie Z in the 2 slot. Then it's Dylan Passo. Justin Ford stays in after he went 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs last night. John Freitag in right field. Then it's Casey Comiskey. George Baker behind the dish for the second time this season. Ryan King, Michael Levinson, and Anthony Lino. The arm they're going against is Brian Dengler. He misses in the bottom of the zone for ball 1. And we are underway here from Tabasky Field. Dengler so far this season, an 11.05 ERA in 7 1/3 innings pitched. That one misses at the top of the zone for ball 2. And Dengler has only made 1 start this season, this being his second. And the man in the box, Griffin Crane, the new addition from Louisville, had 2 plate appearances last night, finds himself in a 3-0 count with Dengler missing at the top of the zone for a second straight pitch. Crane was hit by the pitch in his lone at-bat last night. Dengler finds the zone for strike 1. First pitch, he's located in the zone here in this outing. The 3-1. Chopped over to the left side. Woodridge boots it. Fielding it is Connolly. He's not going to make the play. And the Stallions have the leadoff base runner on after the E5 over at third base.
3 games in a row now where the Stallions have had the leadoff runner on in the first inning, and both of the last previous times that runner has come around to score.
Last night, Utica did not commit an error. The Stallions had 1, and now over their last 8 games have had an error in every game, but offensively looking to take advantage with Jamie Z at the plate. He lines a ball into right field. Chasing it is Richards. Makes a sliding play for out number 1. What a play by Dane Richards out there in center field. Makes a nice diving grab, and there's 1 down.
Richards got a great jump on that ball. He moved his feet right away, came on a full sprint, and then a dive. Beautiful play from the center fielder for Oneonta.
Steals a hit from Jamie Z with 1 out. Dylan Passo, his future Notre Dame teammate, at the plate. Crane steals second. Here's the throw down. Not in time. Griffin Crane, his first stolen base as a Stallion. And now there's a runner in scoring position for Dylan Passo in a 1-0 count. Passo had an RBI double in the 6th last night. Takes the 1-0 at the top of the zone. Stallions, winners of 2 straight coming into this one. The last time they had a 3-game win streak was when they came here to Oneonta and played a full game. They went on to win 4 in a row. Now looking to be on the cusp of doing that once again as they host the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs tomorrow night. 3 balls and no strikes with Crane over at second base. Second 3-0 count of the game. And Passo will take the walk.
Walking to the plate, number 55, Justin Ford.
Justin Ford at the plate now, and he had a monster night last night for these Stallions. Started things 2 for 2 with a double, a single, and an RBI, and then had the pivotal swing in the bottom of the 8th, an RBI single which scored Jamie Z and put the Stallions ahead 6-5. Matt Murtaugh would stay on for the 4-out save in the 9th.
Over his last 3, Ford is 9 for his last 14 with 7 RBIs. Just absolutely on fire for this Stallions offense. He can hit 3rd, 4th, or 5th. The Seton Hall product leads the PGCBL in RBIs as well.
And is looking for RBI number 24 here in this at-bat, with Crane sitting at second and Passo at first. Brian Dengler dealing with some early trouble. First pitch from Dengler in there, 4-1. And so far this season, Dengler has given up at least a run in every single outing so far. That being 5 in total. The 0-1. Misses at the top of the zone, 1 ball and 1 strike.
And it was the walks in his last outing, over 2 1/3 innings pitched against the Boonville Lumberjacks. 5 walks during that time, already 1 here in the first.
Credited with the loss in that game as well. Both runners will go. No throw down from the catcher Wirtz. It's a double steal for the Stallions. 3rd stolen bases of the game for them. And there's runners at 2nd and 3rd here with nobody out. Or excuse me, 1 out. 2-1. Ford fouls it off to the right side. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Justin Ford looking to put the Ponies up early. They trailed 2-0 at the end of the top of the first last night. Trying to do the same thing here to the Outlaws. Chops the ball over to the left side. That finds the hole. That one is through. Crane is in to score. Passo chugging home. He's in. Ford will go over to second on the play, and it's 2-0 Stallions.
Walking to the plate, number 15, John Freetag.
Ford not doing too much there, just poking a ball to the left side.
How about Justin Ford picking up right where he left off last night against the Utica Blue Sox? Knocks in 2, gives the Stallions the lead, 2-0 in the top half of the first inning. Stallions also led after the first inning the last time these two teams played before it ultimately got canceled due to rain.
John Freitag, the right fielder, at the plate for Saugerties. The lefty takes a strike at the top of the zone. Ford at second, 2 runs across here in the top half of the first. Stallions getting things started early here in Oneonta. Freitag chops a ball to the right side, just foul. First 0-2 count of the ball game. Saugerties has won 13 straight games here against the Outlaws, and early on tonight, looking like they might have number 14. Have won 3 of their last 4. Stallions getting hot at the right time here at the start of July. Freitag cuts a ball to the left side out of play. Count stays at 0-2.
And if you look at the Stallions during their last 4-game stretch where they've won 3 of them, allowing 8 runs per game on the pitching side, but scoring just above 9 runs per game on the hitting side.
Pitching has been better as of late. The ERA falling down. Dengler misses outside with the 0-2. Last night, Stallion staff only letting up 5 earned. It's back-to-back games where they've only let up 5. And Anthony Umhay on the bump tonight for the Stallions, sporting a 3 ERA coming into this one. Ford's going to go over to third base. Freitag hits a ball into right field, and this might be a double play. Clark makes the play in right. He'll throw to short. Connolly there, and that is the double play to end off the inning. Ford stole. Stallions trying to put on the hit and run to make this a 3-0 game, but it bites them in the butt. It's a 2-0 game, though. Stallions leading as we go to the bottom of the first. Bottom of the first here in Oneonta. Dan Challen with you alongside Nick Zuppi. Stallions plating 2 runs in the top of the first, and here's the defense they have out there tonight that's going to try and protect that lead. George Baker behind the dish for just the second time this season. Last time was against the Amsterdam Mohawks at Shuttleworth Park about a couple of days ago. Then it's Casey Kaminsky over at third base, Jamie Z at short, Levinson at second, Passo at first, and then from the outfield left to right, King, Crane, Freitag. First time we've seen that combination in the outfield so far this year.
It's normally Ford and Hobbins-Siefken manning left and right, but Hobbins-Siefken getting the night off after playing last night against the Blue Sox, and Ford picking up right where he left off last night against the Blue Sox tonight.
Reese Maroney also getting the night off here tonight. He was the leadoff man for the Stallions yesterday against the Blue Sox. The arm on the bump for Saugerties here in this one, Anthony Umhay. He's been one of the best starter-wise for these Stallions.
This being his 3rd appearance of the season. He's pitched 3 innings. 2 of them came in his last appearance against the Mohawks. He's only allowed 1 earned run through those first 3 innings, good for an ERA of 3.
Looking to protect this 2-0 Stallions lead. Dane Richards, the center fielder, is going to step in for the Outlaws here in the bottom of the first. And Richards was a crucial player in last night's win for the Outlaws, which snapped an 8-game losing streak. Oneonta trailed in that one 1-0 after 4 innings. But then 4 unanswered runs between the 5th and the 8th propelled them to a 4-1 victory. First pitch from Umhay misses outside, 4-1. And the reason Richards was such a key player in that victory was because he had 2 RBIs, which made the game 3 and 4-1. This is a team that's really struggled to hit the baseball as of late.
They're the last place team in the PGCBL in batting average at just under 220, and they're also last in slug at just around 265.
1 ball, 1 strike here to Dane Richards. The pitch misses inside for ball 2. Last night, Stallions got great length out of their starter. That was Andrew Speranza. 4 innings for him, 2 earned runs with 4 strikeouts. Umhay misses at the bottom of the zone. Now 3-1.
It's now 3 straight games, Dan, where the starting pitcher for the Stallions has gone at least 4 without allowing no more than 2 runs to come across.
The pitch. Poked into right field. This one's going to get down. It's a leadoff single for Dane Richards. 3 straight plate appearances now where he has a hit. And the Outlaws have a runner on with nobody out in the bottom of the first.
Thomas Woodbridge.
Just what Oneonta wanted to start things off here in the bottom of the first as they trail 2-0. And Thomas Woodbridge, the third baseman, in the plate. Woodbridge chops on the first pitch he sees. It's fielded at short by Z. He throws to first on the fielder's choice. He didn't have a play over there at second as he was coming in on the ball that was hit directly over to second. So it's a productive first out for the Outlaws. They've got a runner in scoring position with 1 down. And Jack Clark coming to the plate, the right fielder.
And Clark is their RBI leader as well. Went 1 for 4 last night with a double and drove in one of those pivotal 4 runs for the Outlaws in their win last night.
Trying to grab RBI number 15 on the season here in the bottom of the first. Takes down low for ball 1. And Clark has been stellar offensively for this team. His 14 RBIs lead the squad along with 21 hits, which is also a team-leading mark. Umhay finds the zone for strike 1. Outlaws have struggled here at home this season, a 3-6 record, and only one of those wins coming here in the month of July, that being last night. Only 2 in the month of June. And they spent a fair share of their time away from Damaski Field last month. 14 games on the road and won just one of those. Enjoying being here at Damaski Field just a little bit more. Richards at second with one down. 2-1 is hit just foul. The count's now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Stallions pitching staff let up 2 runs in the first last night, that being to the Blue Sox, and all came with 2 outs. And ironically enough, Andrew Speranza had himself in an 0-2 count on the Blue Sox 3-hole hitter and then surrendered 3 straight hits, which put Utica up 2-0 at the time. Umhe deals. Leaves the off-speed sitting in the middle of the zone. Chasing it is King, and he can't make the play. That ball is down. Fielding it is Crane. Coming in to score is Richards, and it's an RBI double for Jack Clark. A 1-run game here in Oneonta. It's 2-1.
Representing the Mountain Hawks of Lehigh University.
Just like last night, the road team scores 2 runs in the top half of the first, and the home team responds with 1. The Stallions were the home team last night against the Utica Blue Sox in their 6-5 victory on 4th of July.
Ian Wirtz, the catcher, stepping in. Wirtz tied this game, or has a chance to tie this game, tied last night's game 1-1 against the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs. Swings on the first pitch he sees. Grounds it foul, 4-strike-1, had an RBI walk. And then after that, the Outlaws would score 3 more and win it 4-1. Has a chance to tie up the ball game here in the bottom of the first. Clark at second after his RBI double. Umhe set at the belt. Here's the pitch. Misses down low. Baker does a nice job blocking it. 1-1.
The Oneonta offense has found themselves in a nice groove through their first 3 hitters. This is a team who played 2 hits already in their first 3 hitters, and they did not have a single knock at all through the first 4 innings on offense in the last game against the Stallions before it got canceled due to rain.
One. Just hit off foul to the left side. Stallions will have a chance to continue that no-hit bid. The next time the Stallions come here to Damaski Field, which will be in the last week of the season. That being one of just 2 road games for the Stallions in their final 10. 1-2. Check swing from Wirtz. Pops it foul to the right side. Umhe fires. Going over to third was Clark, but the ball is put foul, so he'll return back to second, and the count stays at 1-2.
Wirtz doing a nice job of staying alive here in this at-bat. 3 consecutive foul balls now with a 2-strike count against Umhe in the bottom of the first.
Just the second earned run of the season that Umhe has allowed through 3 1/3 innings pitched. 1-2, off-speed misses high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And he only has 1 strikeout as well through his first 3 1/3 innings pitched for the Stallions this summer. 1 strike away from picking up number 2.
Has been used purely as a reliever. This his first start of the season. Two-two pitch. Popped up on the infield. Comiskey creeping in. Makes the play. 2 down here in the first.
Approaching the plate from Wofford University, number 49, Zach Porter.
Zach Porter at the plate now. He's the extra hitter tonight. PGCBL rules letting you bat 10. The DH is Connor Waiting for the Outlaws, and he's in the 7 spot tonight. Runner at second with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Porter grounds that one foul, and so far this season has been one of the better hitters on this Oneonta Outlaws team, a .262 average in 20 games for him. Just 7 RBIs, looking for number 8, which would tie this ball game up at 2. A 1. Put him play to the left side. King camped under it. He makes the play. Umhe limits the damage here in the bottom of the first. 1 run across for the Outlaws on 2 hits as we go to the second. Top of the second here in Oneonta. Dan Schaum with you. Alongside Nick Zuppi, Casey Comiskey, the third baseman, stepping in. Brian Dangler out there for his second inning of work. Deals a first pitch ball at the top of the zone. Stallions have 2 runs across in this ball game. Started with a Griffin Crane ball put in play to the third base side. Error by Connor Woodridge led to the Stallions getting their leadoff runner on. Then Dylan Passo walked to batter later, and Justin Ford with the 2 RBI single has the Stallions ahead by 1. Comiskey takes in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Ford notched RBIs 27 and 28 on the season. By far and away the leader in that category. Travis Hobbin-Siefken is actually tied for second with Brandon McCrane at 23.
Hobbin-Siefken not playing here tonight, gets the off day. And last night went 0 for 4. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Casey Comiskey, the third baseman. The pitch. Off speed. Misses on the outside part of the plate, and the count goes full for the first time here tonight.
And Degler's a guy who doesn't really strike out many guys. Only 3 Ks through his first 8 1/3 innings pitched this summer.
Comiskey grounds one to Connolly at short. Throws across the diamond way high. Hits off the backstop on the first base line, but stays in play. Second error of the game for the Outlaws, and the Stallions in back-to-back innings to start this game get their leadoff man aboard off a fielding error by the defense.
That was a tough play for Connolly. He had to take 2 steps to his right, field the ball in the backhand in the hole, make a long throw across the diamond, but it was way over the head of Montesano over at first.
George Baker, the catcher, in the box for the Stallions. Runner at first with nobody out. Unofficially scored that will be a single. So erase the E6. Second hit of the ball game for Saugerties. Baker, a 200 hitter in 4 games so far this year. Started last night as the designated hitter and then was pulled after 2 at-bats in which he grounded out to second base and struck out swinging. Check on Comiskey.
That strikeout was just only 1 of 2 for the Stallions offense. Last night, Travis Hubbensiefken had the other. He went down looking in the 4-run 6th. But this is a Stallions team who doesn't strike out very much.
Comiskey going to second. Baker with a mile-high pop-up into center field, and Comiskey quickly retreats. Making the play is Richards. And there's one down here in the top of the second. Seemed like Baker got completely under that ball. Ryan King, the left fielder, at the plate now. King hasn't played since the Stallions hosted the Glens Falls Dragons a few days ago. That being on July 2nd in what was a 9-5 win for the Stallions. 0 for 1 in that game with a couple of walks. King takes upstairs for ball 1.
And King had an on-base streak that reached as many as 7 games before it eventually came to an end up at Mohawk Valley. He was on base in his first 7 games as a Stallion.
One ball, no strikes. Comiskey's going to try and steal second again. King puts it over to the right side, foul. So he'll go back to first. Comiskey only with 8 stolen bases on the season, but that ranks 3rd on the team. Luis Rodriguez has 23. He's no longer active with the Stallions. So Comiskey ranking 4th among all Stallions players, 3rd among active. 2 balls and 1 strike to Ryan King, the Rhode Island product who's teammates with Reese Maroney. Another pickoff over to Comiskey. They know that he wants to go at some point. Keeping a close eye on him. Has not been caught stealing yet this season. And he will try and go over again. Here's the throw down from Wirtz. It's offline. And a perfect 9 for 9 for Casey Comiskey this season. And the Stallions have a runner in scoring position here with 1 down.
4 stolen bases for Saugerties already here in the top of the second. Griffin Crane had 2. Dylan Passo also had 1, and Comiskey now picking up the 4th of the game.
3 balls, 1 strike. And Dengler checks on Comiskey over at second. They don't want him going any further. A big RBI scenario here for Ryan King early on. Could make this a 2-run ball game for the second time here tonight. 3-1. Smacked into center field. Richards is there to catch the line out. Comiskey not going anywhere. 2 outs here in the top of the second. Back-to-back plays to the Outlaws center fielder. Back-to-back outs.
Good swing by King as well. He caught the barrel with the baseball in that 3-1 pitch, but ultimately just hit it too far in the direction of the center fielder Richards.
Michael Levinson at the dish now. Just his second game for the Stallions. And in his first one was a perfect 1 for 1. A walk and got hit by the pitch twice. So the OBP and the average both sitting at 1,000. Takes a first pitch strike from Dengler on the outside part of the zone. A 1 offering. Just misses in nearly the same spot as the last pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike here to Levinson.
And you mentioned Levinson reaching base 3 times in the last game he played. He actually scored all 3 times in that one as well.
This is a guy who knows how to hit. Batted .361 for RPI this past season. 2 balls and 1 strike to the rising sophomore. 29 RBIs with the Engineers. Looking for number 1. Here's a Stallion. The pitch. Fastball misses upstairs. Back-to-back hitters for the Stallions that have found themselves in a 3-1 count.
I'm going to look for Levinson to be aggressive, really, right here. 3-1 count, 2 outs, runner over at second base. This is the perfect opportunity to put a good swing on a baseball and drive home a run.
He'll take, and the ball in the dirt. It's a 5-pitch walk to Levinson, and now the Stallions have runners at first and second for the 10-hole hitter, Anthony Lino. And Wirtz wants to talk things over with Dengler before facing the High Point University rising sophomore.
And it was Lino in the last game he played against Glens Falls that had the knockout blow, a 2 RBI single in the 8th inning that plated runs 8 and 9, giving the Stallions a 4-run lead. And Mason Weaver came in to finish things off in the 9th, and he did so very nicely. 2 strikeouts in that half of an inning.
Lino with another RBI opportunity. Here in the top of the second, Stallions plated 2 in the first and looking for more here with Ford. Dengler finds the zone for strike 1. The wind, the kick, the pitch. Lino goes around for strike 2. Was fooled by the changeup at the bottom of the zone. Runners at first and second with 2 down. Stallions at risk of stranding 2. Dengler deals. Waste pitch right there on the outside part of the plate. 1-2.
And that's exactly what Dengler's going to do. He's going to vary speeds. He's going to vary locations, up, down, in and out, to no matter which side of the plate you're hitting from.
1-2 offering. Slapped over to the left side. Woodridge there to make the play. Stallions strand 2. Lino nearly with an RBI. But Woodridge just in the right place at the right time. Keeps this a 1-run game going to the bottom of the second.
And now we have some trivia with Declan. Let's see what.
Bottom of the second here in Oneonta. Dan Shalom with you, alongside Nick Zuppi in the Pack Up broadcast booth. Brendan Connolly, the shortstop, starting things off for the Outlaws. Anthony Umhe on the bump for his second inning of work. And in the first, let up 1 earned run on 2 hits. The big one being the 3-hole hitter Jack Clark with the RBI double to get Oneonta on the board. And Connolly lines a ball into deep right field. Going back is Freitag. It's a one-hopper off the wall. Connolly at second. He will stop there. It's a stand-up double for the Outlaws to start things here in the bottom of the second.
First pitch swinging, first pitch crushing from Connolly. That's his second double of the season, this being his 17th game played as an Outlaw.
Back-to-back innings for this Outlaws team where they've had an extra base hit. And for a squad that comes into this one with a .218 batting average, worst in the PGCBL, certainly not playing to those numbers here early on.
This is a team coming into today that is last in extra base hits, already have 1 through the first inning plus on offense.
Connor waiting the DH at the plate. Umhe produces a swing and miss for strike 1. Outlaws looking to get the tying run in this ball game across. Stallions plating both of their runs in the first inning. 0-1. Chop to the left side, foul. Quickly 0-2. Anthony Umhe with the chance for his first strikeout of the game.
Induced 2 flyouts and a ground out for those 3 outs in the first inning. One of them was to the third baseman Comiskey, another flyout to the left fielder King, and a 6-3 fielder's choice with Z coming across the middle, throwing it over to Paso.
The 0-2 misses down low. Baker does a nice job sliding across his body, backhanding it, making sure it doesn't get past him. A decently sized backstop here at Damaski Field, so anything past Baker will be free bases for Connolly at second. Umhe set at the belt. Here's the pitch. Chop to the right side. Paso fields it. He'll throw to first. Umhe there covering the bag. A big out number 1, but the Outlaws move Connolly over to third, and now the tying run sits just 90 feet away with 1 down.
Productive swing from Waiting. Got jammed a little bit on the 2-strike pitch from Umhe, but ultimately, like you said, advancing the runner another 90 feet over to third for Zach Rowe. And the Stallions are actually bringing the infield in here, leading 2-1.
Rowe playing out in left field tonight, trying to tie this ball game at 2. First pitch from Umhe is a fastball in the dirt for ball 1.
In last night's 4-1 victory over the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs, Rowe actually threw 2 scoreless innings on the mound. 4 of those outs he got were strikeouts.
A 5.50 ERA for him in 5 appearances, and at the plate, a 194 batting average in 16 games. He's up in the count, 2-0. Just has 4 RBIs in the season, and all he needs here is a hard hit ball on the infield to split the holes, or a fly ball to the outfield also does the job. Baker with the snap throw down to third, and they got him! Baker gets Connolly cheating off of third base, and there's 2 down. What a throw from the Louisville backstop.
That's what Baker's known for. Big power guy, power hitting guy, but a power arm behind home plate. Shows it off there with a beautiful snap throw and tag by Comiskey.
First time he's had a chance in this game to nab any runner, and does a great job right there and takes a lot of pressure off of Anthony Umhe, who's in a 3-1 count to Zach Rowe.
Back-to-back games now where the Stallions catcher has had a caught stealing. Cameron Carroll had 2 last night for the Stallions against the Blue Sox.
3-1. Catches the top part of the zone. Umhe using the fastball. And he pushes the count full with 2 outs. Payoff. Fouled straight back to the screen. And we'll do it again at 3-2. Cameron Carroll was behind the dish last night for the Stallions, and he caught 2 runners stealing. Baker continuing that success here tonight. The 3-2. Fouled off once again. A battle here between Umhe and Rowe.
And Rowe, earlier in this season, was 2 for his first 4 at the plate, but since then has started to struggle a little bit. 2 for his last 27.
Umhe deals. He misses at the top of the zone, issues the 2-out walk, and the Outlaws have their second base runner of this inning.
And the inning could have looked very differently if not for Baker's arm and throw over to third. Back-to-back games where the Stallions pitching staff has to thank their backstops.
First baseman Lenny Montesano at the plate. Batting just above 200 through 8 games started this season. Fouls off the first pitch he sees to the right side for strike 1.
Montesano played last night against the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs, but went 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts.
Rowe at first, 2 down in the bottom of the second. The pitch catches the bottom of the zone. Umhe going to the off speed, and he's got himself in an 0-2 count.
Big 12-6 curveball from Umhe right there in a no-ball, 1-strike count. Lands it for a strike. Now he has all the pitches in the arsenal to go to with no balls and 2 strikes.
He'll give a check over on Rowe, who was leading a little bit off of first base. Rowe with just 1 stolen bag this season on 1 attempt. The 0-2 pitch. Montesano stays alive. Fouls it off to the right side. Despite there being 2 outs on the board, this inning hasn't necessarily been easy for Anthony Umhe. Let up a leadoff double before George Baker nabbed Connolly over at third base. Then got a ground out over to first, issued the 2-out walk to Zach Rowe. 0-2. Grounded to the left side. Comiskey fields it cleanly, throws to first in time. Anthony Umhe puts up his first 0 of the ball game. Stallions leading 2-1 going to the third.
And the Outlaws will be right back here at home Monday night at
Third inning here at Damaski Field. Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi. Anthony Umhe doing a nice job in the bottom half of the second after giving up the leadoff double to Brendan Connolly. Works out of a little bit of trouble thanks to some help from George Baker. Gives the Stallions lineup a chance to add a little bit of breathing room here in the top of the third. Griffin Crane leading things off, his second at-bat of the day. Chops the first pitch he sees over to second. Robinson fields, throws to first. One pitch, one out in the top of the third.
And first time this season that Griffin Crane has not reached base safely as a Stallion.
That through only now 3 plate appearances, reached on the first 2. It was hit by the pitch and got a little bit of luck. E5 by Woodridge in the first. Jamie Z at the plate. First pitch called for a strike at the bottom of the zone. First time tonight, the Stallions' leadoff hitter has been retired. Jamie Z has been absolutely on fire for this team. Leads the PGCBL in home runs with 5 as he takes at the top of the zone for ball 2. And last night, an RBI single for him in the 6th, and then a triple in the 8th, and he would eventually come home to score off the Justin Ford RBI single as the 6th run of the ball game, which was obviously the one that pushed the Stallions across the line.
And that triple was to dead center at Cantine. If it was to the left or to the right, probably would have been a home run, but it was a triple nonetheless.
Z very disciplined at the dish. He takes the 5-pitch walk.
Dylan Passo.
Just the 6th base on balls of the season for Jamie Z. And the Stallions have a base runner with 1 out here in the top of the 3rd. Dylan Passo at the plate. Strike called on the outside part of the plate for strike 1. Dengler tries to go back to the same exact spot. Doesn't get it that time. 1-1. Passo with a walk in the first. Came around to score. Represents the 2nd run of this game for Saugerties.
Checks on Z over there at first, who has 4 stolen bases this season. He's got good speed, so I would expect him to be in motion here.
Started to lead off of first and then retreated. That's something the Stallions have been doing a little bit as of late. They did it last night. Justin Ford faked going over to second base, cut back, and then the catcher at the time had trouble dealing with it, and Jamie Z does the same exact thing right there. Goes over to second. Wirtz was a little bit psyched out with him leading off, cutting back, and Z moves up to second base, and the Stallions have a runner in scoring position here in the 3rd.
5th stolen base already for the Stallions here in the top of the 3rd inning, doing what they do best on the base paths.
And 5th stolen base of the year for Jamie Z. Passo skies it foul, and the count goes full. Payoff. Runs inside. And gets past the catcher Wirtz. So Passo will jog over to first base on the walk. Z moves up to 3rd on the pass ball. And the Stallions with the chance to blow this game wide open with the man who has brought home both runs here tonight, Justin Ford.
Justin Ford.
Back-to-back walks issued from Brian Dengler. And Z will go back to second base here, as that's ruled a hit by pitch on Passo, so the ball was dead.
Still an RBI opportunity for Ford, though, with Z over at second base.
Dengler finds the top of the zone for strike 1. Ford brought home both the runs on a single in the top of the 1st. Trying to get the 3rd run across for the Stallions here in the top of the 3rd. Dengler with a little bit of trouble finding the zone. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Ford is almost hitting 400 this season. Came into this one hitting 397, 31 hits, and it's 78 at-bats.
chased at the top of the zone. You can see he was a little bit frustrated with himself after that pitch. Ford, 3 straight plate appearances for him with an RBI. 4 of the last 5 times he's at the dish has plated a run. Gets under this one. That's going to be too high over to Clark in right field. He makes the play. Ford was a little bit upset with that swing, slammed the bat when he was jogging down to first, and there's 2 out. Really wanted the pitch before the one he just made contact with. But regardless, Ford goes down on the pop-up into right, and John Freitag comes to the dish. Unfortunate situation for Freitag in the first. He flew out into right field, but Justin Ford on the play stole third, didn't get back in time, resulted in an inning-ending double play. And Dengler misses at the bottom of the zone for ball 1.
And Freitag came into last night's game as a pinch hitter. He pinch hit for Baker and then followed it up very nicely, was 1 for 1 with a walk. So he was on base in both plate appearances last night.
Loops a ball into center left. It's going to drop. Freitag with the lucky break. Z comes in to score, and the Stallions push the lead back to 2. It's 3-1 on the RBI single.
First RBI of the season for Freitag as well, with the 2-out swing that just scored Z from second.
Casey Comiskey at the plate now. He had a single to start things off in the second and a chance to bring home run number 4 for the Stallions here in the top of the third. Runners at the corners. Dengler deals. Comiskey swings at the first pitch he sees. A lazy fly ball into right. Clark makes the play, and that ends the threat. But the Stallions add one more here in the top of the third. It's 3-1.
Stallions. And now, the next game of the night is my favorite game of the night.
Defensive switch here for the Stallions in the bottom of the third. John Freitag is out of this game for Dylan Fitzsimmons. And we saw Fitzsimmons get pulled from the game yesterday. He started out there in center field, and then Griffin Crane came to hit for him in the bottom of the seventh. An early move here from head coach Colin Martin.
And Fitzsimmons out in center field didn't have the best of day. He didn't make any errors, but he was late breaking on balls. One fell in front of him for a base hit. One landed a couple steps to his right for extra bases. Now playing right field today, looking to take advantage of more and extra reps here today.
Umhe deals a first pitch strike. Out there for his third inning of work, put up a 0 in the bottom of the second for the first time here tonight. Pitch misses outside for ball 1.
And Umhe is a guy for the Stallions that doesn't necessarily throw the hardest. He sits somewhere between 77, 80 miles an hour with a fastball.
Spikes one in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike. Zachary Robinson is the 10-hole hitter tonight for the Outlaws. He's at second base. And a 2-1 count here in the bottom of the third. Ball smacked over to short. Z fields cleanly, throws to first in time. First out of the inning is a ground out to short, and the top of the order rolls around here for the Outlaws. Dane Richards coming to the plate.
First time through the first 3 innings for the Outlaws on offense that the leadoff runner has not reached base.
Richards started this game off with the single in the first. 3 straight times at the plate for him now where he has had a hit. And that streak is going to be snapped. A lazy fly ball into center field. Crane moves in, makes the play. 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the third.
Approaching the plate from Monroe Community College, number 14, Thomas Woodbridge.
It's Thomas Woodridge, the third baseman, at the plate now. First lefty of the inning that Umhe has had to deal with. Tries to lay down the bunt on the first pitch he sees. It's a called strike. 0-1. A 1 is chopped behind the plate. No balls and 2 strikes. Umhe still does not have a strikeout in this outing, but is on the cusp of his first 1-2-3 inning. Pitch. Misses outside, 1-2.
And Umhe doesn't necessarily throw the hardest. He lets his defense work behind him coming into tonight. Only 3 innings pitched and 1 strikeout.
Chopper to Paso at first, does a nice job being a goaltender in front of him. Flips over to Umhe, it's in time. Some nice PFP from the Stallions to end things here in the bottom of the third. It's a 1-2-3 inning, and Saugerties leads by 2 heading to the fourth.
Welcome back to Damaski Field. Nick Zuppi alongside Dan Chalem. Top of the fourth inning with the Dallas Hot Wieners called to the bullpen. Colin Carver now coming in for the Outlaws. This is his 6th appearance out on the mound for Oneonta this season.
Carver so far this year a 17.47 ERA for him as Baker chops the first pitch to the left side.
Right underneath Woodridge's glove over at third base. George Baker, first pitch swinging, first pitch crushing for a leadoff single here in the top of the fourth inning. Now every inning on offense, the Stallions have had the leadoff runner on, which sets the table for Ryan King.
And back to Carver, 5 appearances so far this season, 5 2/3 innings pitched, and in that time, 11 earned runs, which is why he has that ERA sitting at over 17.
First pitch to King is flied out of play. 4 strike 1, and it's been the walks this season for Carver that have really hurt him. 10 walks through 5 2/3 innings, averaging just about 2 walks per inning pitched for Oneonta this season. Carver checks on Baker over at first base. The catcher for the Stallions does not have a stolen base yet this season. Saugerties, though, already has 5 through the first 3 innings on offense. The 0-1, grounded over to third. Woodridge fields, fires to second, and Robinson makes the nice backhanded scoop to retire Baker over at second base.
And Robinson nearly fumbled that ball. If you saw the way Woodridge threw that over to second base, didn't get everything behind it, was kind of falling away from the ball. And that results in the fielder's choice.
Mike Levinson now stepping into the batter's box for the Stallions. He's the number 9 hitter in this lineup. Stallions hitting 10, 4 consecutive games now, but for the first 20 they did not, as Levinson takes strike 1 here today. He reached base because of a walk, that being back in the second inning. Levinson hasn't been retired yet this season, 1 for 1, with now 2 walks and a hit by pitch. Carver checks on King over at first, not in time. But Levinson, Dan, this is a guy who has plenty of pop at the dish. Hit .361 for the RPI Engineers this past spring to go along with 18 extra base hits as he swings and misses for strike 2.
Hasn't really shown the power just yet, but a lot of walks, 23 this past season at RPI, and continuing that here with the Stallions. Not going to swing at something unless he really likes it.
The 0-2 from Carver, chopped over to short. Connolly fields, flips it to Robinson, over to first, not in time. So back-to-back fielders' choices for the Stallions here in the top of the fourth. Brings up Anthony Lino, the 10-hole hitter.
Nearly had 2 there. Levinson speedy with the wheels, so he beats it out at first base. But this inning has kind of gone to waste for the Stallions. They had their leadoff runner, George Baker, on after he singled into left field, but since then, back-to-back fielders' choices to second base.
Stallions now have had a hit in every inning, 1 across all of the first 4 innings on offense here at Damaski Field. Lino takes strike 1 on the fastball from Carver. Last game Lino played was against the Glens Falls Dragons in the 9-5 victory up at Cantine for the Stallions, and he was on base just once, but he had 2 RBIs on 1 swing in the 3-run 8th for the Stallions. That gave them a nice some nice insurance runs to ultimately hold on and win. Going from first to second is King, and he will advance standing up on the pass ball, getting behind the catcher Wirtz. So a 2-out here in the top of the fourth in a 1-1 count.
Just what the Stallions needed to finally break up the force play at second base. That's what's really troubled them up here in the top of the fourth, and Lino had a hard hit ball over to third in his first at-bat.
0 for 1 here today. It was the 4th inning when these two teams played that the Stallions got going offensively. It was a 3-run 4th. 2 of them came on 1 swing, courtesy of a Casey Comiskey 2 RBI triple. He then would later score on a pass ball, so Casey responsible for all 3 runs in the inning. The 2-1 from Carver. Chopped over to second. Robinson fields the 2-hopper, flips it over to first in time to retire the side. Colin Carver, in relief of Brian Dangler, throws up a 0 in the top of the 4th inning with 3 ground balls. We're going to the bottom half.
Going into the bottom of the 4th, 3-1 Stallions.
Anthony Umhay still toeing the slab for the Stallions in the bottom of the 4th inning. He's gotten through the first 3, only allowing run on 3 hits. As the leadoff hitter, Clark skies this one into the gap, but Griffin Kane makes the nice running play into the right center gap for the first pitch and for the first out here in the bottom of the 4th.
I was talking to Andrew Romano last night, and he said Griffin Crane is one of the best defensive outfielders that you will ever see in the game of baseball. High praise from the former Stallions outfielder and the Delaware grad, and Crane has already made all the plays for the Stallions team that he's been tested on so far.
Even last night, he made the diving play to end things against the Blue Sox. Z fields over at short. Nice play on the backhand over to first base. 2 outs now on 2 pitches from Umhay here in the bottom of the 4th.
Approaching the plate from Woburn University, number 49.
Can't ask for much more. That's a quick inning for Umhay, and maybe if you're head coach Colin Martin, you maybe even think about sending him out there for the 5th if you can get another 1-2-3 for him now. 6 batters in a row retired.
Zach Porter now steps into the batter's box, this being his 2nd plate appearance here today. He had a fly out to left back in the 1st inning. That actually ended the 1st inning, where Oneonta plated their only run courtesy of a Jack Clark RBI double. Umhay fires in a strike. 3 pitches, all have been strikes, 2 put in play. The 0-1 pitch, this one is put in play, and it will fall for a base hit for Porter. First hit of the evening for the extra hitter for Oneonta, and a 2-out base runner for the Outlaws.
Well, that breaks up what was going to be a 1-2-3 for Anthony Umhay, but still 2 outs on the board. And Brendan Connolly coming to the dish, a guy that got to Umhay in the 2nd.
Back in the 2nd inning, he had a leadoff double, but ultimately was picked off over at 3rd with George Baker, the catcher for the Stallions, showing off that rocket arm, that being out number 2 in the inning. Oneonta has now had a hit in 3 of their first 4 innings on offense. The Stallions have had a hit in every inning that they've been on offense as well. The last 3, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, they've left a runner in scoring position as well. Still leading 3-1. First pitch to Connolly is grounded up the middle. Z makes the play and will step on the bag. To end things here in the bottom of the 4th inning, Umhay only throws 6 pitches, but gets 3 outs. We're going to the 5th from Damaski. Stallions lead 3-1.
Stallions.
Stallions leading 3-1 here in the top of the 5th inning. Nick Zuppi alongside Dan Shalom. Stallions offense has had a hit in each of the first 4 innings. Justin Ford had a 2 RBI single back in the 1st inning. Their only other run came on an RBI single from John Freitag back in the 3rd that scored Jamie Z. Stallions have had 5 stolen bases on offense. This is a team that loves to run the bases. 89 of 102 coming into tonight, now 94 on the season, which is the most in the PGCBL. Leadoff hitter for the Stallions is the leadoff hitter in the lineup. Griffin Crane will lead things off here in the 5th against Colin Carver. First pitch from the right-hander is a bunt that Crane misses. Foul tips it into the glove of the catcher Wirtz for strike 1. Here today, Crane is 0 for 1, 0 for 2, but he reached base on an E5 back in the 1st inning. Came around to score as well. The 0-1. Fastball low for strike 2. The only other AB for Crane was in the 3rd, where he hit a 2-hopper to the second baseman Robinson. The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Strike 3, Crane goes down swinging on 3 pitches for out number 1 here in the top of the 5th inning.
Jamie Z.
4 straight outs for Carver in relief of Dangler.
He's done a really nice job in that ERA. He's not pitching to it right now. He's over 17 coming into this, certainly lower, and that was through 5 1/3. Carver really doing a nice job here in this outing so far.
Brian Dangler started for the Outlaws through 3 innings, gave up 2 earned, 3 total runs, 3 walks, no strikeouts as Jamie Z goes fishing on a breaker on the outside corner. 4 strike 1 here today. Z has scored a run. He's 0 for 1. He scored back in the 3rd after he walked and stole a base. Also hit a fly out to center. 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. The 0-1 pitch bounces in the dirt for the first ball here in the top of the 5th inning. Z had his 10th extra base hit of the season last night, a leadoff triple that led to Justin Ford singling him home in the 8th. That gave the Stallions a 6-5 win on 4th of July. Z grounds this one over the bag, just foul down the left field line. So now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Dan, he was inches away from picking up extra base hit number 11.
That certainly would have been a double and could have given Dylan Passo, who has 2 walks here tonight, a chance to bring him home and extend the lead to 3.
Z now in a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Coming into today, hits 290 on the season. The 1-2 pitch. High fly ball into the right center gap. On the run is Richards. It will be the right fielder Clark to make the play for out number 2 here in the top of the 5th inning.
This has kind of turned into a pitcher's duel ever since the 1st inning. where 3 runs were scored in total by both teams. Carver's done a really nice job out of the bullpen for him now. 5 straight batters retired, and on the other side of things, Anthony Umhe has only faced 1 batter above the minimum over the last 3 innings.
He's retired 7 of his last hitters he faced as well through 4 innings. Has only allowed 1 run on 4 hits. Does not have a strikeout, but that's not what he's known for. He lets his defense work behind him, and he's doing so very effectively. Once more here today, Dylan Passo now in a no-ball, 1 strike count with 2 outs. The 0-1 pitch fouled to the netting behind home plate. Now no balls and 2 strikes. Colin Carver has come in relief of Brian Dangler and done a great job. 3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks for Dangler, who started things for Oneonta. Carver now 1 strike away from getting through 2 innings of scoreless baseball. The kick and the pitch misses just slow. On the fastball, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Passo has been on base in both plate appearances here today. He walked back in the 1st and 3rd innings. Also has one of the 5 stolen bases for the Stallions offense. That came back in the 1st on a double steal with Crane. The 1-2 pitch flied out to left field. Rowe is camped underneath it, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Colin Carver. We're going to the bottom of the 5th. Stallions still leading 3-1. Bottom of the 5th inning from Damaski Field. Stallions still leading 3-1. And Anthony Umhe is still toeing the slab for the Stallions in the bottom of the 5th. Through 4 innings, he's only given up 1 earned on 4 hits. No errors for the Stallions defense. And Dan, Umhe has been spectacular now. 4 straight games where the Stallions starting pitcher has gone at least 4, allowing 2 runs or fewer.
Really outside of that 1st inning, Umhe has been stellar in the 3 innings after that 1st. Has only faced a maximum of 4 batters in each.
Leadoff hitter for the Outlaws is the designated hitter, Connor Wading, who's 0 for 1 here today. Takes a ball on the outside corner. Wading hit a ground ball over to the first baseman, Passo, and he flipped over to Umhe covering at first. That back in the 2nd inning, being his only plate appearance here today. The 1-0. Breaking ball fouled to the netting behind home plate. First base coach Colin Norton will get up out of his chair and retrieve it. 1 ball and 1 strike.
That's a nice toss right there by Norty as well. You love to see him staying active over there. And a little one-handed grab.
He's always active when the Stallions are hitting, coaching first base, looking to make the barehanded play. Gets up out of his seat and does so right there. Umhe just misses the zone on the breaker. 2 balls and 1 strike here in the bottom of the 5th. The 2-1. Grounded up the middle. Z makes the play, throws across the diamond in time for out number 1 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Anthony Umhe threw 4 1/3 inning. Still dealing. Retired 9 of the last 10 hitters he's faced.
And Z's been tested over there at short a few times in this game. That one where he had to come in on the run. He's done a really sound job. Stallions, no errors in this game. Had one last night, which is big for them because before that, over the last 3, they had at least 2.
First pitch to Rowe is lined up the middle for a base hit. Umhe almost fielded it out on the mound. Well, the ball went over his glove for a 1-out single from Rowe. Only their second hit since the 3rd inning.
And that was just an unfortunate one for Umhe. Not much he could have done right there. It was just initially tried to get out of the way so it didn't hit off of his foot. And then obviously with the ball going straight up the middle, nobody there for a 1-out base knock.
Bringing up Lenny Montesano to the dish for Oneonta. 0 for 1 here today with a ground ball to third. First pitch to him in low in the dirt. Nice backhanded scoop from Baker. Keeps Rowe over at first base. Rowe now has been on base both times here today. He walked back in the second and swung at a first pitch here in the 5th and reached after he singled it back up the middle. Umhe checks on him over at first base. Rowe only has 1 stolen base, but he's 1 for 1 on the season. Here today, the Outlaws still looking for their first stolen base. Stallions have 5 through their first 5 innings on offense. The 1-0. Fastball right down the middle at 78 miles an hour. 4 strike 1 from Umhe. Coming into this start through 3 innings this season, he had only given up 1 run. So this is by far and away his longest outing of the season. 4 1/3 for the Stallions. The 1-1 pitch is a high fly ball into right field. Fitzsimmons is camped underneath it, coming around it, and makes the play for the 2nd out in the bottom of the 5th. Fitzsimmons newly entered the game last inning in the bottom of the 4th. A defensive replacement for John Freitag.
And he'll get his first chance at the dish in the top of the 6th with the Stallions having 4, 5, 6 coming to the plate. And Saugerties also with an arm going in the bullpen. So should see Umhe finish out this inning, and that'll probably be the end of his start.
Perfect opportunity to do so with the number 10 hitter in the Oneonta lineup, Zach Robinson, due up. He takes the first pitch upstairs from Umhe. He only had 1 other plate appearance here today. It was a ground ball to the shortstop, Jamie Z, for the Stallions. And he was retired with a throw over to first to his fellow Notre Dame freshman teammate, Dylan Passo. The 1-0. Just misses inside. 2 balls and no strikes on Robinson. Robinson did not play the last time these 2 teams played here at Damaski Field. The shortstop was Matthew Carrera, who had a sac bunt back in the 3rd, that being the only plate appearance for him because the game ended in the bottom of the 4th, which will be picked up at a later day as Umhe checks on Rowe over at first. Two balls, no strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th inning. Anthony Umhe still toeing the slab for the Stallions to the first 4 2/3. Has only allowed 1 run on 4 hits. The 2-0. Line foul out of play to the right side, so 2 balls and 1 strike on Robinson.
Robinson with the ground out over to short in his first plate appearance. And Umhe has only allowed 2 hits over the last 3 innings now.
Rowe had a single. He's over at first base. And Zach Porter also had a single last inning. A 2-out single came in the 4th. The 2-1 grounded over to the hole. The diving play, Comiskey, but Z gets a glove on it and does not come up with it. So a 2-out RBI opportunity for the top of the order rolling around for the Outlaws here in the bottom of the 5th. Dane Richards stepping into the batter's box.
Richards.
And just not the guy the Stallions want at the plate, but Umhe produced some weak contact off Richards in the bottom of the 3rd, a fly out into center field, but in that first, swung at the first pitch he saw for a single.
That play from Robinson will be officially scored as a single, so now the 5th hit of the game for Oneonta comes here in the bottom of the 5th inning. First pitch to Richards is outside, 1 ball and no strikes. There is an arm warming in the Stallions bullpen, so Umhe coming to the end of his time as the starting pitcher for the Stallions here today. In last night's 6-5 victory over the Utica Blue Sox, Stallions had to use 4 different pitchers. Matt Murtaugh covered the last inning and a third to get the save for the Stallions in a 6-5 win on fireworks night at Cantine. The 1-0. Lined over to third, and that will get down 4 extra bases outside the reach of the diving Comiskey. Rowe will come around to score. Stopping at third is Robinson. A 2-out RBI double for Dane Richards makes this a 3-2 ball game here in the 5th.
Unfortunate right there. Back-to-back balls for Umhe that have just been hit to the left side and out of the reach of Comiskey. And now things get a little bit more interesting with the tying run at third base.
And we're going to get a mound visit out on the mound from pitching coach for the Stallions, Prax Vigil, coming out to talk to his right-hander.
And the thing is, Richards has been really finding his bat as of late. Last 5 plate appearances for him now, he's got 3 RBIs and a pair of doubles. So just the guy the Outlaws wanted up in that scenario. And then you go to Thomas Woodridge, the third baseman. He's 0 for 2 here tonight, but Woodridge still a guy who has 9 RBIs on the season for Oneonta, which ranks 3rd overall.
Richards picked up his 3rd double and 6th RBI this season with his 2-out swing that plated a run for the Outlaws. Jack Clark stands on deck for Oneonta. He's been one of, if not their best hitter this season, a .296 batting average through his first 20 games, 21 hits, and 71 at-bats. So Umhe has to go after Woodridge here with 2 outs to prevent Clark coming up to the dish with a runner in scoring position. First pitch from Umhe. Popped foul over to the left side. On the run is the left fielder King, and it will land foul for strike 1. Woodridge here today is 0 for 2. He grounded into a fielder's choice, 6-3, back in the first, and ended the 3rd inning with a ground ball to the first baseman, Passo, who flipped to Umhe covering. 0 for 2 here today. Stallions plated 2 in the top half of the first. Oneonta responded with 1. Stallions then plated another in the 3rd and respond here in the bottom of the 5th. 3-2 game. Outlaws actually out hitting the Stallions 6-4. The 0-1 misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike on Woodridge. Coming into today's game, .238 batting average through his first 13 games as an Outlaw. 10 hits and 42 at-bats for the third baseman. The 1-1. Chopped over to the right side. The first fields it, fires to Umhe, covering in time to retire Woodridge and end things in the bottom of the 5th inning. Oneonta cuts the deficit in half, 3-2. We're going to the top of the 6th. Stallions coming to bat and still leading. Top of the 6th inning from Damaski Field here in Oneonta, New York. Nick Zuppi alongside Dan Shalom. Outlaws cut the deficit in half with an RBI double from leadoff man Dane Richards. But then Anthony Amhe does a nice job of forcing the ground ball to Woodridge to end things in the 5th. Justin Ford will lead things off for the Stallions. He's 1 for 2 here today, but has had the swing of the day. A 2 RBI single that scored the first 2 Stallion runs, and he swings and fouls this one off for strike 1. Ford went 3 for 4 last night against Glens Falls. Comes into this plate appearance 9 for his last 16 over his last 3 games. 0-1. Line 2 right field, and that will get down for a base hit, and the right fielder Clark just gets a glove on it, keeping Ford at first base. First time now the Stallions have had a leadoff runner on since the 4th.
There you go, and just the guy who keeps his bat hot. Justin Ford had a 2 RBI single in the 1st and does a nice job here. The Stallions are going against Carver, who has over a 17 ERA coming into this game. They need to start stacking quality ABs and scratch some runs across.
He put up back-to-back zeros in the 4th and 5th. Only allowed 1 hit. Dylan Fitzsimmons now steps into the batter's box for his first plate appearance. He takes ball 1. He came in right back in the bottom of the 4th inning. First plate appearance for him today. Freitag was 1 for 2 with an RBI single, that coming back in the 3rd. Carver checks on Ford over at first base, not in time. Ford is a big threat to go over at first. He's 2nd in the team in stolen bases with 12, only behind Luis Rodriguez, who is inactive, so technically he's the team leader in that category. Fitzsimmons takes outside 2 balls and no strikes. Dylan Fitzsimmons played last night against the Utica Blue Sox. He was pinch hit for by Griffin Crane, who's playing center field here today. Went 1 for 2 as Carver once more checks on Ford over at first. He had a single back in the 6th inning, and he also came around to score one of the 4 runs in that inning as well. He was the first of 3 consecutive singles, and Ford goes away from second, and there will be no throw. 6th stolen base for the Stallions here today. It's first of the game for Justin Ford and number 13 this season.
And why not? You know that Wirtz behind the plate hasn't nabbed you all day long. Ford takes advantage, and now it's an RBI opportunity for the Stallions.
Stallions have had a runner in scoring position in 4 of the 6th innings on offense, looking to do some more damage after Oneonta made it a 3-2 game. Fitzsimmons takes the first strike in this at-bat, 3 balls and 1 strike with 1 out. Top of the 6th inning, Justin Ford over at second base. He led things off with a single and just recently stole second to pitch prior. The 3-1. Again with the fastball on the inside corner. Now count goes full after starting with a 3-ball, no strike count. Here in the top of the 6th, Casey Comiskey on deck for the Stallions if Fitzsimmons were to reach. The payoff from Carver. Misses inside, ball 4. Fitzsimmons comes in off the bench and draws the walk in his first plate appearance. Here today, bringing up Casey Comiskey, who's 1 for 2.
Big inning brewing for the Stallions. There's nobody out. Fitzsimmons works the walk. Comiskey, who's a hot bat, coming to the plate. They need to scratch at least 1 across here, 1st and 2nd with nobody out, and maybe you think about a bunt here.
Comiskey had a single back in the 2nd inning. He also stole one of the 6 bases that the Stallions have done so. Woodridge over at 3rd, playing for the bunt, and Ford goes over to 2nd, but the throw down to 2nd. An attempt to get Fitzsimmons is not in time. Ford advancing to 3rd. But it's a double steal for the Stallions, bringing runners now at 3rd and 2nd with nobody out for Casey Comiskey and a no-ball, 1-strike count against Colin Carver.
That's the 2nd time in this game that the Stallions have pulled off the double steal. Perfect time to scratch across a few runs, put up a crooked number.
Stolen bases 7 and 8 for Saugerties here tonight. The 0-1 pitch, line to the netting behind home plate. Almost hit us at the picnic table here at Damaski Field in the Pac Hub broadcast booth. No balls and 2 strikes. Comiskey also in this game had a fly out to right that ended things in the third. On the first pitch he saw from Brian Dangler, that was the last pitch that he threw in this game through 3 innings. Allowed 2 earned runs on 3 hits to go with no strikeouts and 3 walks. The 0-2 pitch just misses on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes, on Comiskey. The Outlaws bring the infield in here, trailing by 1, 3-2 in the top of the 6th. Colin Carver, this is his first real jam out on the mound for the Outlaws here today.
Pressure makes diamonds. See if it's going to be Comiskey or Carver.
The 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball lined into center field. Richards on the run, makes the play. 4 tags at third. Richards throws home and is up the line and not in time. This one gets behind the catcher, Wirtz, allowing Fitzsimmons to reach, and he throws it into the outfield. Now Dylan Fitzsimmons will come around to score. It's a 2 RBI sac fly for Casey Comiskey. 5-2 Stallions in the top of the 6th.
That is just an ugly play right there defensively from the Outlaws. We'll take another look at it here. The original sac fly was in shallow center as well, so Richards had a chance at the plate, but then he just completely misses on Wirtz. It goes up the line, and then at that point, if you're Wirtz, probably best to just eat it as he skives Woodridge, and then coming home to score is Fitzsimmons, and the Stallions lead it by 3 for the first time tonight.
5-2 Stallions. They have 5 hits. Oh, the Oneonta Outlaws have 7. Baker takes on the outside corner. 4 strike 1. George Baker has one of the 5 Stallion hits here tonight. That was a single. Back in the 4th inning, where he actually led off the 4th with a line drive back up the middle. He then would be retired on a fielder's choice from Ryan King, who hits behind him in the lineup. He takes down low. 1 ball and 1 strike with only 1 out here in the top of the 6th. Stallions have already played it 2. Justin Ford led things off with a single. Then Dylan Fitzsimmons walked, and then the most recent play where Comiskey flied it to center that scored 2 runs. The 1-1. High fly ball down the left field line. It will land foul for strike 2.
And that play, too. 2 errors tagged on the Outlaws. One goes on Richards for the throw that got behind the plate, and then the second one goes on Wirtz, who skied it over third base.
3 errors now for the Outlaws, compared to 0 for the Stallions. First 4 matchups this season. The errors haven't been even. Stallions have made 5, Oneonta 4, but now 3 here tonight. The 1-2 pitch. Defensive swing from Baker, flies it out of play down the left side, so we'll do it again. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Top of the 6th inning, Stallions lead 5-2. They scratched across 2 runs in the first, 1 in the third, and now 2 in the 6th. Oneonta scored 1 in the first, 1 in the 5th, and have not hit in the 6th. Baker goes down swinging. 4 strike 3. Second strikeout for Carver. And his time out on the mound for the Oneonta Outlaws. 2 outs in the top of the 6th.
He chased it down low right there.
Now batting
Baker
number
had a
8,
similar
Ryan
swing
King.
last night before he got pulled from the ball game. That time just can't hold back. There's 2 down.
Ryan King now steps into the batter's box for his third plate appearance here today. He had a line drive to the center fielder, Richards, back in the 2nd. And a 5-4 fielder's choice back in the 4th. First pitch to him is outside. 1 ball and no strikes. This season through 8 games, King has a .250 batting average, 6 hits. In 24 at-bats, only 1 has been for extra bases. It was a double back in the 2nd inning and a 5-4 loss against the Glens Falls Dragons. The 1-0 in their 4 strike 1 on the outside corner. King, the Rhode Island product, teammates with Reese Maroney, who's getting the night off for the Stallions. Last night he played and went 1 for 2, scored 2 runs in the leadoff spot for the Saugerties as King swings and misses. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs in the top of the 6th.
Carver just looking to get out of what has been a sloppy inning from the Outlaws. Defensively, both those runs go down as unearned.
The 1-2 pitch, way upstairs over the head of King. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Colin Carver this season has 8 strikeouts coming into today. Now 1 more away from being number 11. The 2-2. Foul tipped into the glove of Wirtz for strike 3, and there it is, strikeout number 11 this season for Carver, second of the inning, and back-to-back to end the top half of the 6th. We're going to the bottom half. Stallions now lead 5-2. Welcome back to Damaski Field. Nick Zuppi alongside Dan Shalom. Bottom of the 6th inning, and we have a Dallas Hot Wieners call to the bullpen. Marciano Neglia coming in for the Stallions. This is being his 6th appearance in the PGCBL this summer. And Dan, Anthony Umhe in his first start as a Stallion was just terrific. 5 innings pitched, only 2 earned.
And only 1 walk given up in that time as well. 7 hits, but all those hits were pretty sporadic, so it's not like it all happened in 1 inning. And for him,
Outlaws from High Point,
you can't ask for much more in his first time going more than just an inning and 2/3. Did an amazing job, got tested with the length, 5 strong, 2 runs. Great start out of Umhe.
Coming into tonight, he only had 3 innings pitched on the season across 2 appearances, but throws 5 innings tonight, giving up only 2 runs to the Oneonta Outlaws. First pitch from Neglia is popped foul along the right side. Baker takes a look at it. He's underneath it and will make the play to retire Jack Clark on the first pitch he saw in the bottom of the 6th.
Can't ask for much more out of Marciano Neglia. 1 pitch, 1 out so far for him. And so far this season for Marciano Neglia, it's been a mixed bag. A 10.38 ERA for him in 5 appearances. 8 2/3 innings pitched, but the lion's share of those runs came in 1 outing to the Amsterdam Mohawks, where he let up 5 in the 9th.
This one is first pitch swinging, but it will land out of play for strike 1. The last time Marciano pitched was in the 11-8 loss for the Stallions up at Shuttleworth Park. He came in relief of Reese Brammer. Back in the 8th inning, he got the final 2 outs and gave up a couple runs up at Shuttleworth. The 0-1 pitch is a high fly ball out into center field. Crane now will come in on it and make the play for out number. Here in the bottom of the 6th, Marciano gets 2 fly balls on the first 2 hitters he faces.
A much calmer outing, and that's something you have to take into account when you look at Marciano Neglia's numbers. He's given up 7 runs to the Amsterdam Mohawks, which is the best offense in the entire PGCBL. So he's doing a nice job here against the Outlaws, who are sitting at last in the league. 2 quick outs in the bottom of the 6th.
Oneonta has a .218 team batting average coming into today, which puts them in last place in the PGCBL in that category. Zach Porter now steps into the batter's box. He's 1 for 2 here today. He had a single back in the 4th and a fly out to left back in the 1st. 1 for 2 for Porter as he takes low. 2 balls and no strikes. The Outlaws are actually out hitting the Stallions 7-5, despite them trailing 5-2 in the bottom of the 6th with 2 outs. The 2-0 inside now, 3 balls and no strikes after 3 straight strikes for Neglia resulted in 2 outs. The 3-0, swing and a chopper over to third. Comiskey fields, fires across the diamond in time. A 1-2-3 inning for Marciano Neglia in the 6th inning in relief of Anthony Umhay. We're going to the 7th inning here at Damaski Field. Stallions leading 5-2.
Top of the 7th here in Oneonta. Colin Carver out there for his 4th inning of work. Faces Michael Levinson to start things, and Levinson makes contact with the first pitch he sees. This one's into the right center field gap and is down. A 3-hopper to the wall. Levinson going into second. He's there standing up. A leadoff double for the Stallions here in the top of the 7th.
Back-to-back leadoff hitters in the inning for the Stallions have reached base. Ford came around to score in the 6th, and Levinson leading things off with a bang here in the 7th and a first pitch double.
Anthony Lino at the dish now. 0 for 2 here tonight. Looking to knock in Levinson from second and make this a 4-run ball game. First pitch down the middle, first strike 1. Lino, just 2 RBIs this season. Finds himself in an 0-1 count. The pitch. Shot into right center field. That ball is down. Levinson is waved home. He's going to be in there standing up. It's an RBI single for Anthony Lino, and the Stallions lead 6-2.
Back-to-back games for Lino, where he's had an RBI base hit. The extra hitter out of High Point here tonight, providing a Stallion spark in the number 10 hole spot now in back-to-back games he's played in.
Just what you want to see from Lino. Top of the order for the Stallions. Griffin Crane at the plate. They'll give a check over on Lino. Does not have a stolen base so far this season. Crack to the right side, a nice play by Montesano. He throws over to second. How about first? He can't get back to the bag, but they'll get the fielder's choice. So there's one down here in the 7th.
Nice play from Lenny Montesano over there at first base. A one-hopper hit hard on the ground from Crane, but makes the nice backhanded play and at least gets one out for the Outlaws.
Jamie Z.
Jamie Z at the dish now. Z so far in this game, 0 for 2 with the walk. That coming in the 3rd. Came around to score. That was the Stallions' 3rd run of this game. Crane goes over to second on the first pitch, and he's in there safely. Griffin Crane showing off the wheels. First stolen base as a Stallion for him, and Saugerties has another runner in scoring position.
3rd for Crane here tonight. He had 2 back in the 1st, and now 9 for the Stallions as a whole in terms of stolen bases.
One-0. Knocks Z on the helmet. It was an off-speed pitch that hit him, and he seems to be totally okay walking there over to first base. And this is going to be a Dallas Hot Wieners call to the bullpen now. Colin Carver out of this game after hitting Jamie Z in the head on his most recent pitch. Stallions have runners at first and second with one down here in the top of the 7th, and have already plated one.
Down.
Number 22, Dylan Passo.
Top of the 7th, the Dallas Hot Wieners call to the bullpen. Asa Duggan out to pitch for the Outlaws. And Dugan so far this season has been the 3rd best arm by ERA for these Outlaws. A 5.02. Double steal on the first pitch. Throw down from Wirtz. Goes into the outfield. Coming in to score will be Crane. third double steal of the evening for the Stallions, and it's 7-2.
4 stolen bases now for Crane out of the leadoff spot to go along with 2 runs. This is exactly what you want out of your leadoff hitter, setting the tone, using your speed when you're on base and coming around to set the table for the run producers in the lineup.
And back to Dugan. 9 appearances for him at 14 and a third innings pitched. Having to deal with some early traffic here in his outing. Dylan Passo at the plate. Skies the ball over to the right side, foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. Stallions already have 2 across here in this inning. Started with a Michael Levinson double, followed up from a Lino RBI single. Then Crane reached on a fielder's choice. Z hit by the pitch, and Passo at the plate. And Passo fouls it straight back to the screen. Got just under that one. Stallions with aggressive base running in this inning. 3 stolen bases in total. And forcing an error on Wirtz, his second of the ball game on that most recent play. Off-speed misses at the top of the zone. 2-2.
Stallions have been aggressive on the base paths really the entire game. Now 11 stolen bases through their first 6 1/3 innings on offense.
Here's the pitch. Flown out into center field. Should be deep enough for Z to tag to third. He will do just that. In there safely. And the Stallions have their 8th run of the game, sitting 90 feet away here with 2 down for Justin Ford.
55, Justin Ford.
Ford had a 2 RBI single in the first, and in the 6th, singled, came around to score, stole 2 bases when he was out there as well. First pitch he sees goes straight back. You can hear her mouth that he was just a little bit off on that one, got just under it. It was a fastball down the pipe at the top of the zone and wanted to get that barrel just a little bit higher. Takes on the outside part of the plate, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Ford's been on base twice in his 3 plate appearances. Came around to score in the 6th and knocked in 2 with 1 swing back in the 1st.
1-1. Off speed. Catches the outside part of the zone. Z at third with 2 down in the top of the 7th, in which the Stallions have scored 2. And Ford chops the ball over to short. Connolly fields, throws to first in time. Dugan comes in and doesn't let any more in after the error from Ian Wirtz. Stallions add 2 more. It's 7-2 Saugerties. bottom of the 7th here in Oneonta. Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi. Marciano Neglia out there for his second inning of work after Anthony Umhay's 5 innings of 2-run ball. And in his first inning of work, Neglia with a 1-2-3-6. Looking to keep that going here against the shortstop, Brendan Connolly. Deals a first pitch fastball at the top of the zone for strike 1. Outlaws with just 2 runs in the ball game. Scored 1 in the first, 1 in the 5th. Straight batters for them retired.
And this is an Outlaw offense through the first 4 full meetings against the Stallions. Only 10 runs scored, so they're averaging about 2.5 runs per game, right on par tonight.
Neglia finds the inside part of the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Connolly. Has just 7 strikeouts on the year, the least among the qualified hitters for the Outlaws. Neglia nearly had him right there for strike 3. Home plate umpire not giving it on the outside part of the plate. Two-two offering. Fouled off to the left side, and we'll do it again at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Neglia has 6 strikeouts this season through now 9 2/3 after completing an inning here today at Demaskey Field, where he forced 2 flyouts. One of them was a foul pop to the catcher, Baker, to go along with a ground ball.
Neglia misses down low, and the count goes full.
Umhay did a nice job of making the Outlaws put the ball in play. He only had 1 walk in his 5 innings of work.
Payoff. Fouled off for a second straight pitch. Connolly fighting here to start things in the bottom of the 7th. Neglia misses outside, frustrated with himself after that last pitch. And Connolly works the walk, first base on balls, and first batter that Neglia has allowed in this outing. Connor Waiting, the designated hitter at the plate. 2 ground outs on the infield for him tonight. First pitch, Waiting, pops up into right center. Chasing it is Crane, and it falls off his glove. He'll throw to second in time for the force. What an effort from Griffin Crane out there in center field. Doesn't make the original catch. Doesn't let it get to him. Throws to second in time for the force.
Nice play from the Stallions defense there, picking up the first out of the inning here in the bottom of the 7th inning. A diving attempt by Crane, but they get out number 1, more importantly.
One down. Zach Rowe at the plate. Fouls it off to the left side. Rowe in left tonight. 1 for 1. Single in the 5th, walk in the 2nd. Neglia deals a fastball straight down Broadway. 0-2. Here's the pitch. Spikes it in the dirt. This one gets past Baker. Going over to second is Connolly, a runner in scoring position for the Outlaws here in the bottom of the 7th.
Last time the Outlaws had a runner in scoring position was the 5th when Dane Richards delivered with an RBI double before Umhay got Thomas Woodridge to ground out to the first baseman Paso that ended the 5th inning threat.
The 1-2. High in the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Neglia still doesn't have a strikeout here tonight and was up 0-2 on Brendan Connolly before issuing the walk. Neglia, a wild pitch right there. Baker can't glove it. That's 2 bases now that have been gifted to Connolly off wild pitches from Neglia.
And Baker's going to go have a chat with Neglia out on the mound. It looked like miscommunication there between pitcher and catcher. Baker was set up inside, maybe looking for the fastball, but Neglia backdoored a breaking ball and missed, creating confusion.
And for the Outlaws now, they have their 3rd run of the game, sitting just 90 feet away. Just need a row to put a ball into the outfield. And a full count. Neglia is going to step off. Now comes set. Here's the pitch. He misses outside once again. Another full count walk from Neglia. Second base on balls he's issued in this inning. And Lenny Montesano steps to the dish now with runners at the corners.
And Rowe's actually now been on base. In each of his first 3 plate appearances, he had a single to go along with 2 walks.
Strike 1 from Neglia on Montesano. Waiting is over at third base. Rowe at first. Big cut and a miss from Montesano, and now Neglia is a strike away from getting the second out of this inning. Fouled back by Montesano. Count stays at 0-2. Off speed misses at the top of the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Montesano, who is 0 for 2 in the game. Three foul balls in this at-bat for Montesano. And another one hit out of play.
Montesano doing everything he can to stay alive here. 4 foul balls with 2 strikes alone. Trying to give the Outlaws a spark on offense. They're still trailing by 5, but have a base runner.
2 base runners at the corners. No 1-2 count. Neglia can't hit his spot. 2-2 now. Two offering. Grounded to the left side. Comiskey will throw over to second. Levinson to first. In time. 5-4-3 double play. Gets Marciano Neglia out of the jam and keeps the score line at 7-2. Going to the 8th.
After 7-2 Stallions.
No. Back here in the top half of the 8th, Dylan Fitzsimmons at the plate. He came in to this game as a defensive replacement in the bottom of the 3rd for the Stallions. John Freitag started things off. 1 ball and 1 strike count. Asa Dugan out there for his 2nd inning of work. 1-1. Misses high in the zone, 2 balls and 1 strike. Stallions back-to-back innings for them offensively, where they've put up 2 runs and looking to keep that going here in the 8th. Pitch. Big cut and a miss from Fitzsimmons. 2-2. Fitzsimmons started last night's game out in center field, was pulled after 2 at-bats, where he went 1 for 2. A 2-2 offering. Poked out of play. Past the Outlaws dugout on the 3rd base side. Stallions on the cusp of what would be their 3rd straight victory. Pulled them 3.5 games back of the Mohawks, who are off tonight. So Stallions currently 4.5 games back, would gain a half game, and the current score line up in Mohawk Valley between the Diamond Dogs and the Blue Sox is 6-5. With the Blue Sox win, the Stallions would be up 2 games going into tomorrow's matchup with Mohawk Valley at home.
And the Stallions have won 2 of the first 3 meetings against the Diamond Dogs.
Two. Fitzsimmons cuts and misses. He's down on strikes.
Now batting number 33, Casey Kaminsky.
1 down for Casey Comiskey. First pitch misses outside for ball one. Comiskey shoots one over to the left side foul. 1 ball and 1 strike count. Win here tonight would be 14 straight for Saugerties against the Outlaws. It's the 1-1. It is an off-speed pitch in the dirt for ball 2. And a loss for the Outlaws would mean that they are losers. 8 of their last 9. Weak chopper back to the pitcher, Dugan. He throws to first. 2 down in the top of the 8th.
4 straight outs for Dugan since he's come in for Colin Carver. He got Paso and Ford in the top of the 7th, and now starting things off in the 8th with Fitzsimmons and Comiskey.
George Baker at the plate in this game. 1 for 3, single in the 4th. Takes a first pitch strike in the middle of the zone. A 1. Smacked into deep right center field. Clark going back. It's a 2-hopper off the wall. Baker chugging into second. He's going to go over to third. They're having some trouble fielding it in the outfield. Baker, a stand-up triple. And that was some loud contact from George Baker.
Back-to-back games for the Stallions offense where they've had a triple. Jamie Z had a leadoff triple in the 8th last night against the Utica Blue Sox. Now George Baker now has 2 hits here tonight.
Ryan King is going to try and bring him home here with 2 down. First pitch strike at the top of the zone. Stallions leading by 5 here in the top half of the 8th. They only led it by 1 after the 3rd. But the 4 runs across the last 2 has opened this game up for Saugerties. 0-2 pitch to King. Misses outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One, 2. King with some hard contact into deep center field. Richards going back. That one's off the wall. Baker in to score. King at second. Back-to-back extra base hits for the Stallions. Ryan King with the long double. And it's 8-2 Ponies.
Now batting number 9.
Second double of the season for Ryan King to go along with his 3rd RBI this season. This being his 9th game as a Stallion, providing Saugerties with a nice Nacarado insurance run here in the 8th.
3 straight innings now for the Stallions, where they have played it at least a run. With King at second, Michael Levinson in the box, who had a double in his last plate appearance. Takes ball 1 at the bottom of the zone. Not the first true loud contact, Baker and King, that Dugan has given up in this outing. One out. Curveball misses the top of the zone. Dangerous count to Levinson, who already has shown power in this game. 2 out. Can't find the zone. The count is 3 balls and no strikes. Maybe a green light opportunity here for Levinson with the Stallions already up by 6. Fastball in the dirt. It's a 4-pitch walk to Levinson, and Anthony Lino will come to the plate, who had an RBI single in his last at-bat. Everything coming with 2 outs for the Stallions here in the top of the 8th. Baker the triple, Ryan King the RBI double to bring him home, and a walk to Levinson. Dugan set, now deals. Lino swings at the first pitch he sees. It's a chopper back to Dugan. Throws to first. And the Stallions leave 2 on here in the top of the 8th, but they add one more. 8-2 Saugerties going to the bottom of the 8th. Zachary Robinson to lead things off here in the bottom half of the 8th. Stallions adding a run in the top half. That coming from a George Baker triple, and then he was brought home off a Ryan King double. Marciano Neglia still out there right now. This being his 3rd inning of work. Came in the 6th and has not given up a run. Misses at the top of the zone for ball 1. Last inning, Neglia got out of some trouble with a 5-4-3 double play that Lenny Montesano grounded into. Fires above the head of Robinson, 2-0.
Marciano gets to work with a 6-run lead. He's got to make the Outlaws put the ball in play. They got to hit themselves back into this game. No free passes.
And there is an arm getting going in the bullpen for Saugerties. Two balls and no strikes. Or excuse me, 3 balls and no strikes. Can't find the zone. A 4-pitch walk to Zachary Robinson, the 10-hole hitter, to start things here in the bottom of the 8th.
Just the 3rd walk for Stallions pitching here today. Marciano had one in the 7th, now one in the 8th. And Anthony Umhe only had one through his first 5 innings out on the mound.
Dane Richards, the leadoff man at the dish. He's been the highlight for the Outlaws so far in this game. A single in the first, he came around to score. That made it 2-1 at the time, and then an RBI double in the 5th. Robinson going over to second. Throw down from Baker is offline, and it goes into the outfield. Crane is there to keep it close, but a stolen bag for Robinson puts a runner into scoring position for the Outlaws. second inning in a row where they've had a runner reach second. And Baker is going to talk things over with Neglia on the bump.
Baker had a pickoff earlier in the game. That was back in the second inning when Brendan Connolly was over at third with one out. In the bottom of the second, Baker backpicked him at third, which really helped out Anthony Umhay, cleared the bases.
Neglia struggling to find the zone. Back-to-back hitters that he's dealt himself into a 3-0 count. And back-to-back 4-pitch walks dealt by Marciano Neglia to start things here in the bottom of the 8th.
Number 14, Thomas Woodridge.
Head coach Colin Martin out of the dugout, and it's a call to the bullpen. Marciano Neglia out of this game. He walks 2 batters to start off the bottom of the 8th, both on 4 pitches. We'll be right back. Stallions leading by 6. Back here in the bottom half of the 8th after back-to-back 4-pitch walks from Marciano Neglia. It's a Dallas Outlaws call to the bullpen for the Stallions. And Reese Brammer is on.
The last time Brammer pitched, it was the walk that hurt him. He only pitched a third of an inning up at Shuttleworth Park in the 11-8 loss. He gave up 3 runs, 2 earned, and walked 4 hitters in that one.
Has an ERA of 27, that only through 2 appearances. And he's only given up 3 earned runs, so has a chance to lower that, but has got to work out a little bit of damage after Neglia let up the first 2 runners here in this inning. His line sits at 2 innings pitched, no hits, 4 walks, no Ks, and the run total still open as he's responsible for Robinson at second and Richards at first. Bunt put into play by Woodbridge, and Brammer can't get it over to first base. That was a problem for him when he pitched up in Amsterdam the other day. And coming to haunt him here to start things in the 8th, and the bases are loaded.
In that inning where he pitched up at Amsterdam, he allowed a run and a ball hadn't even left the infield. So it's these bunts mixed in with a couple walks that really hurt Brammer.
Stallions will stay in double play defense here with the bases loaded. Jack Clark, the right fielder, at the plate. A high fly ball into center field. This should be deep enough to score Robinson. He comes home, tagging over to third is Richards. A throw from Crane. They'll actually go to second, and they nab Woodbridge. He was trying to go from first to second on the play. Crane does a nice job getting it to Z cleanly. He reads the play. And there's 2 down. A double play.
Heads up baseball from Jamie Z, the shortstop for the Stallions. Knew there would be no play at third, but he was eyeing the runner at first the whole time, and when he tagged, he knew when it was a good throw from Crane that he had him dead to rights at second.
Woodbridge caught tagging. 2 down. Brammer gets some help from his defense. And they've been spectacular here tonight. Second double play turned. First pitch from Brammer is smacked over to Z. He makes a hopping play to retire Wirtz and end this inning. Brammer comes into this game, faces just 2 batters, and gets 3 outs. It's 8-3 Stallions going to the 9th. Ninth inning here at Damaski Field, nearing the finish line. Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi. Our social media man, Jack Viator, hops in the booth with us here in the top half of the 9th. Still out there on the mound is Asa Dugan for the Outlaws. Let up his first earned run of the ball game in the 8th after the triple by George Baker. And Jack, you and I got a little bit more insight. Baker working with former Stallion Andrew Amato to make the swing a little bit more compact.
Yeah, I think he's just in his head a little bit, kind of listening to a little bit of the conversation, talking with Andrew Amato yesterday. I think it's an adjustment. You know, you come from Omaha caliber arms where Baker was with Louisville, and now you're in the PGCBL and obviously a wood bat, so it's just going to take a little bit of time. And, I mean, tonight hopefully it will be a big confidence boost, and that's a big part of the game.
And his Louisville teammate Griffin Crane starts things off here in the top of the 9th. Takes a first pitch strike, and Crane has been excellent for the Stallions on both sides of the ball. 4 stolen bases for him here tonight, and a couple spectacular defensive plays in his first 2 games. He's down 0-2.
Crane really has been spectacular. 2 runs scored, 4 stolen bases out of the leadoff spot.
A chopper that'll get through the shortstop and the second baseman. It's a leadoff base knock for Griffin Crane.
First hit as a pony.
First hit as a Stallion comes here in the top of the 9th. And now Jamie Z comes to the plate, the shortstop, who is 0 for 2 tonight. Has a walk and was hit by the pitch in the head, actually, in the 7th inning. Dugan deals a first pitch fastball at the top of the zone for strike 1. Mohawk Valley Utica just going final up there in Mohawk Valley. The Blue Sox walking away with a 6-5 win.
2 straight losses for the Dogs.
Outside. And that's a big thing there, Jack, because now tomorrow the Stallions host Mohawk Valley, and given that Saugerties closes out things here in the bottom of the 9th, they'll be 2 games ahead of Mohawk Valley. Crane's going to go over to second. How about 5 stolen bags on the night for Griffin Crane?
Some serious speed.
Unstoppable speed-wise in both the outfield and on the base paths. He has been excellent. 2-1 count here to Jamie Z. Takes the off-speed in the middle of the zone, and he takes a little bit of an eye roll there walking down to the right-handed batter's box. He wants that one back.
But going back to the stolen bases, Dan, the Stallions now have 12 this game alone for a team that is by far and away the leader in that category in the PGCBL.
Z goes down swinging for strike 3. His first strikeout tonight. It's the second of the game for Asa Dugan. And with 1 down and Crane over at second base, Dylan Passo comes to the plate. A high fly ball into shallow left field. Connolly will range over from short to make the play. After the leadoff single from Crane, back-to-back outs for the Stallions, and Justin Ford comes to the dish.
Approaching the plate, number 55, Justin Ford.
Jack, one question I do have for you here is the Outlaws mascot is a raccoon, and I don't necessarily understand how those two things correlate. Just wondering if you've been able to piece that together better than me.
I'm just as confused as you. It's kind of similar with University of Alabama. Their mascot's an elephant, but they're the Crimson Tide, so that's a little confusing to me. I have a couple friends on the Outlaws, and they have no idea either. I've asked them before.
Well, someone's got to get to the bottom of this mystery before the end of the season. No balls and 2 strikes to Justin Ford. The pitch misses at the bottom of the zone. Also, another interesting thing brought up by our producer, Bella Holleran. What noise does a raccoon make if you could make a noise for a raccoon?
Like, for example, a cat goes, meow.
It's kind of like the umpire's strike call.
I think it's more of like a...
Huh. I don't know. It's kind of...
Do you think it could be a high-pitched squeal?
Care to demonstrate?
Yeah, can you demonstrate for us, Dan?
I think our umpire is doing a great job at that.
That's what I'm saying.
Here tonight, Ford chops one over to second base. Robinson to first. Cleanly ends the threat here in the 9th. Nothing comes after Griffin Crane's leadoff single. Stallions have a 5-run lead going to the bottom of the 9th to protect.
Wofford University. Number
Bottom of the
40,
ninth, Outlaws down to their final 3 outs of the game. They've got 5, 6, 7 coming to the plate, starting with Zach Porter, the extra hitter. Reese Brammer still out there, looking to finish off this game with 2 innings of just 1-run ball. Strike at the top of the zone, and that 1 run not falling on Brammer's line. That going against Marciano Neglia, who walked the first 2 batters of the bottom of the 8th. And quickly, Brammer is up 0-2 on Porter.
You guys ever thought about how many mosquitoes there must be in the world?
Well, Jack, that's the thing. A lot of people say sometimes that they don't like bats, but bats are the #1 killers of mosquitoes, and Brammer just swatted a mosquito out of the way there in Zach Porter for out number 1. 3 pitches, 1 out.
I got a question.
Fire away.
Why do you know that bats eat mosquitoes?
If you just take basic lower school, middle school science at one point or another, you'll learn that we need bats in the world to eat all the bugs. And actually, I was talking about this with someone the other night as Brendan Connolly is at the plate. And this was interesting. Would you guys rather be a nocturnal animal or a daytime animal?
Daytime, for sure.
I feel like daytime because
Nighttime would get lonely,
you
right?
just see more things.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little lonely. Like an owl's always looking for some friends, but like you always see a deer. Deer's always got someone with him.
The Deers are awake at night, too.
Got a guy.
Line out. Kings there in left field. Outlaws are down to their final out of the ball game.
Approaching the plate for SUNY Oneonta, number 6.
Well, here's the
Zach
next
Rowe.
question: who wins in a fight? 100 mosquitoes or 1 bat?
There's got to be a bat. I don't think outside of just biting you and making you itch, I don't think they can actually hurt you.
It's a fair point.
Another conversation I was having with someone today, and we'll see how long we'll get here with waiting at the plate. He takes a first pitch ball. Hot dog eating contest along with a 100-meter dash. You have to eat a hot dog, run 100 meters.
Joey Chestnut wins.
Joey Chestnut or Usain Bolt?
Joey Chestnut wins.
Joey Chestnut.
And it's not close.
Joey Chestnut.
I tend to agree. However, I think if Usain is given the proper instructions on just dunking that bun to make it as wet as possible so you can eat it super fast, I think you might have a shot.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
But yeah.
if you give Joey Chestnut 3
But
months
that's
to train,
not like classified information. I mean,
But Usain Bolt probably goes hours without eating to be able to just sprint 100 meters.
I think
in
you would
just
be
under 10
totally fine
seconds.
sprinting 100 meters after one hot dog, and then you could make the same comment against Joey, who is not as athletic as Usain Bolt by any stretch of the mean.
Well, how fast
he's
is
an
Joey
athlete, though.
Chestnut?
He puts those.
He's an athlete in a
He puts
different
those dogs down.
aspect of the game.
He's up there with Tom Brady and the LeBron James of the world. He's the greatest eater of all time.
If you're
I don't
listening out
disagree
there,
with you.
let us know who you think would win, Joey Chestnut or Usain Bolt. And maybe I'll make some social media content out of it.
I do think that Joey wins. However, if you made it 200 meters, I think it's a totally different ball game.
Who do you think wins?
Oh, Usain Bolt.
I totally agree. Just one hot dog in the competition. It's a 5-pitch walk to Connor Wading.
I think the baseball gods are on our side right now, giving us a little bit more time to talk about these very interesting topics.
Hot button issues here in Oneonta. Zach Rowe at the plate, who's reached base, and all 3 plate appearances here tonight. And I'm gonna stick with. I want to say Joey, but I might go with Usain, and maybe we ourselves here at the Stallions will just have to try it out and see. No strike call at the top of the zone on the first pitch here to Rowe.
All right, Dan.
Hey,
well,
among our interns, Jack, who would you take?
That's a good question. I mean, I'm going to go myself. I'm an athlete. Not really. also
Maybe
have
we got to
flip-flops
try it
on.
out. Maybe we can get some of the players, maybe some coaches involved as well.
If we're being honest, I'm in flip-flops right now, so I'd probably trip.
Which coach do you think would win, Dan? You just mentioned the coaching staff.
I think if we saw
Nordy,
Jack
Nordy.
versus
Get me versus Nordy out there.
Colin Norton, one of our assistant coaches, I would be genuinely interested in that. And Jack, you're taking yourself in that competition?
I think I could do it backwards.
Wow.
Backwards.
Do you think you can double him, eat 2 hot dogs, and still win the race?
No, Nordy's an athlete. He's a dog, but I'm a dog too.
Brammer skies the 2-1. 3 balls and 1 strike. Oneonta down to their last out. Brammer retired the first 2 batters of this inning. Strikeout and a line out to left field before walking Connor Waiting on 5 pitches. Stallions on the cusp of 3 straight wins for just the second time this season here at Damaski Field. Big cut and a miss from Rowe, and the Outlaws are down to their final out and final strike of the game.
Who on the team do you think would win in that competition?
Give me Reese Maroney. Here's the payoff.
Strike 3.
Strike 3 and ball game over. Stallions win it by 5. Reese Brammer comes in and shuts the door. 2 innings of no-run ball, and Saugerties has 3 in a row for just the second time this season.
Celebrate Christmas in July.
Been a pleasure.
Have a great night and please drive home safe.
We'll have you with action tomorrow night as the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs travel to town. That's a 7:05 start at Cantine Field with the 650 Archtop Fiber pregame show. Some thank yous to hand out to our producer Bella Hollerin, our social media man Jack Viator, over to our sideline reporter Hannah Tampassis, Big Zoopy, and myself saying goodnight here from Oneonta, and we will see you tomorrow night back at home.